Being woke is like a magic moral time machine where you judge everybody against what you imagine you would have done in 1066, and you always win. Presentism. Yeah, this professor is right. It's just a way to congratulate yourself about being better than George Washington because you he didn't.
Bill Maher has no tolerance for extreme woke politics, so when a celebrity whose image depends completely on that mindset entered his space, the ending was obvious from the start: a harsh public shutdown. And that is exactly what viewers got. But before we continue, if you like quick commentary videos with detailed analysis, take 2 seconds and subscribe to the channel. Now get ready, because this is where the serious confrontation really starts.
What would get him reelected, which was stupid wokeness, which is what got him reelected. So I feel my conscience is very clear that I told you and I told you and I told you, and I lost fans for it. You know, lots of the super woke that like I'm not woke enough for them. Yeah, but like I think I had it right. Like that kind of stuff is what lost the election for the Democrats. It's in all.
Maybe part of it. I don't know. I think a lot.
They have polling on it.
Well, I think it's inflation. I think Americans hate inflation.
That's certainly what
they hate. Inflation. They hate riots, and they hate. They hate trans people.
God, John.
Crier's big theory for why his party lost.
For why his side failed is basically that ordinary people are secretly hateful. That voters didn't reject the message. They rejected basic decency itself. Stop for a moment and think about how offensive that sounds. Millions of people voted, and this guy's first reaction is to label them bigots instead of honestly questioning his own side. That's not thoughtful analysis. That's just arrogance wearing a celebrity mask. And Maher, who focuses on facts instead of emotions, doesn't hesitate at all because he has evidence, while Crier only has frustration. The contrast becomes obvious immediately. One man examined why his side failed. The other would rather blame the entire country than reflect on himself. And when the bigot argument stops working, Crier jumps to another excuse: grocery prices, inflation, anything except the deeper flaws in his own message. For many viewers, this was the first moment the performance started falling apart. Because the excuse isn't accidental, it's the entire strategy. And the second a person like this runs out of facts, he stops protecting the idea and starts protecting his own position.
Concluding remarks after I told them that the Democratic Party had turned into a Portlandia sketch.
Again, I felt like they tacked to the right quite a bit in this. Again, they tacked right on immigration.
You're a Hollywood in the bubble, blue sky,
dude.
I know this town.
You're a man of the people, Bill. Is that it?
Much
more. Oh, really? And
you're part of the Hollywood community that is embraced. I am not.
Watch how the roles completely flip here, because it explains everything. Crier is the working actor inside the Hollywood system, and Maher refuses to let him deny it. The man who stepped away from groupthink is sitting across from the man still trapped inside it, yet somehow Crier believes he represents ordinary people. Critics claim Maher was only trying to score points, but this wasn't about points. It was about a man being forced to face reality and reacting badly. You can't pretend to speak for everyday people while living inside the same bubble that lost them. And this is the pattern you need to recognize, because the entire movement depends on it. They can't defeat the argument, so they attack your neighborhood, your income level, your background, anything except what you actually said. Critics say that's just part of heated debate. It's not debate, it's a distraction, and Maher walks straight through it.
That's not, I don't live there, it's not my culture,
but yeah, and you won't judge it?
I'm not going to judge it, no. But again, this is not
that's crazy woke to me.
Okay.
That's where it all went off the rails. When we became so tolerant that we tolerate intolerance. I mean, you would never allow something like that to happen in this country. If they proposed a law tomorrow at the LA City Council, women have to cover their face when they go out. I assume you'd be against that.
Well, yes, I would.
This is where the conversation became precise. Crier plays what he thinks is the moral card: I don't judge other cultures, it sounds wise and compassionate. Then Maher simply asks him to apply that logic to something extreme. A law forcing women to cover their faces in public, and suddenly the entire act falls apart in real time. Of course he would judge that, obviously he would. To Maher, that exposes the deeper problem. A level of tolerance so extreme that it ends up protecting unacceptable behavior. That is not morality, that is surrender, disguised to appear compassionate. Here's what I want you to really think about for a moment. They say they never judge until you mention the one thing they personally cannot accept. Then suddenly the judgment returns instantly, proving it was never genuine. They were deciding right and wrong the entire time. They simply hid the standards and called that open-mindedness. Critics say that's unfair to reasonable liberals, but the reasonable liberals are no longer the ones controlling this movement.
Okay, I think this is the standard liberal position. And then there's like the people who won't admit that some of this is social contagion. Some of this is just a TikTok trend that got out of hand.
I don't agree.
And that's okay.
Notice what Maher does that Crier's entire side refuses to do. He calmly states the normal position, then points directly at the part nobody is allowed to question anymore. That some of this is social contagion, a trend that spread too far too fast. Crier refuses to agree and Maher simply allows the disagreement. No insults, no labels, and that matters. Don't overlook it. The man supposedly defending tolerance had to be shown what real tolerance looks like by the same person he came to lecture. That single moment tells you who the genuine liberal in that chair actually was. Now let me explain something important underneath all of this. Once you notice it, you see it everywhere. The modern left transformed every issue into a costume, and every costume into proof of moral superiority.
Warriors, social justice warriors. So they're just always looking for a cause, and it's so much more often about them than the cause itself. Not that they're not sincere about stuff, but like what bugs Dave Chappelle so much about the trans thing, I think it's the fact that they want to make it the social justice issue of their generation, and it just doesn't compare.
Maher's accusation is straightforward. These people are not interested in fixing the issue. They want to wear the issue like an identity and continue acting like warriors, always searching for the next cause to support. And the uncomfortable truth at the center is that it's really about them, not the cause itself. The suffering becomes background scenery. The applause becomes the reward. Critics say that view is too cynical. Then look around and count how many of these activists actually solve anything compared to how many simply perform for attention. That's not real conviction. That's a personality built from other people's struggles. This is a credibility problem the movement refuses to admit exists. And the weaker it becomes, the louder it sounds.
It's politics. Of course, you have to assume that the other side is going to use your vulnerable points. But here's what the left demonizes. They would take my conversation with you right now, which is in no way illiberal, and say I'm some sort of bigot. Because in the left's view, the far left anyway, any just questioning of this is a mic drop. Oh, you're a bigot. I mean, it happened on CNN recently. Like, I will not sit here and hear someone called a boy, and they're talking about someone who's trans, but, it's like, we're so pure. We know everything. That's the given. So any discussion of this is bigotry to begin with. And that's not where we are with this issue.
Listen closely, because Maher just revealed the entire strategy. The far left has one response: question them calmly and respectfully. Without any hate in your tone, suddenly you are called a bigot. And immediately the discussion is finished. He points directly at this happening live on CNN. Critics claim he's exaggerating. He's not describing an idea. He's describing a tactic millions of people have watched happen in real time. That's the machine. And that is exactly why honest conversations barely survive anymore. Critics say Maher is simply bitter, old, and angry at the world. But here's the uncomfortable fact they continue ignoring. He keeps being proven right. Every warning he gave was mocked at first, and every time the consequences eventually arrived.
We dehumanized them. It was politics.
Well, another reason why the Democrats shouldn't have blown it.
Well, again,
so
you can blame them all you want. I believe again that there is a worldwide reaction to the inflation bump after COVID. Everybody, as I said, Americans hate inflation.
You keep telling yourself that, and you'll lose the next one too.
And there's Crier repeating the exact behavior that damaged them one more time live on air. Given a perfect chance to confront the issue honestly, he immediately reaches for inflation, outside forces, for anyone else to blame except the person in the chair. And Maher ends the discussion with one sentence: keep believing that and you'll lose the next election too. That line summarizes the entire night. One man accepted the lesson through experience. The other simply signed up to repeat the mistake again. Critics say Maher was acting arrogant. It's not arrogance, it's a warning. And the pride sitting in that chair is exactly why the warning will be ignored. Now let me explain clearly what sits underneath all of this. Every excuse, every dodge, every claim of I don't judge, every accusation of bigotry, all of it comes from one reality this movement refuses to confront.
The problem with communism, and with some very recent ideologies here at home, is that they think you can change reality by screaming at it. That you can bend human nature by holding your breath. But that's the difference between reality and your mommy.
You cannot force reality to obey your emotions. You cannot ignore human nature until it suddenly changes. That's the difference between understanding the real world and throwing a public tantrum in the cereal aisle. And it's the same difference between a political movement that wins and one left standing in ruins wondering what happened. Critics say that explanation is too simple. Sometimes the truth is simple because it's still true. We watched a man walk in completely confident and leave completely exposed. Cryer arrived to defend the movement and instead became its strongest argument against itself. He replaced facts with excuses. He attacked the messenger once the message defeated him. He claimed he never judged people, then judged immediately when it benefited him. He couldn't admit a trend was a trend. And every time Maher opened the door for honesty, Cryer shut it and returned to the script. Critics say it was only a friendly disagreement between two men on the same side. It wasn't friendly and they are no longer on the same side. One of them is still trapped inside the fantasy that already failed. So tell me in the comments, why can't this crowd simply admit when they were wrong? Is Bill Maher the last honest liberal still standing? And the biggest question is this: when your movement depends on calling everyone a bigot, what remains when nobody reacts to the word anymore? If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like and share the video.